How's it going, folks? This is Maximilian bringing you part 2 of the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 gameplay breakdown. So I think where we last left off, we were still having a quick discussion about Strider. I didn't get to cover everything, so here's a few more interesting details about his special moves. Strider's charging satellite, where he summons one satellite to his side, is done with, I believe it's quarter circle back and S. It's very important for Strider to have this satellite up because it allows you to OTG in situations where you might not be able to OTG. Strider has a couple of interesting off-the-ground attacks. Down forward is like a sliding ground kick, and it covers a pretty good amount of distance. However, you can't, or it seems that you cannot OTG off of a combo. It'll hit them, but it's like a hard knockdown, or I'm sorry, I believe a soft knockdown. They essentially just roll out of it, and you can't really do much with it except set them up for something afterwards, which is still good. It's better than nothing by any means. But if you charge that satellite and you have your satellite available, like you're probably seeing right now, the satellite will allow you to bounce them up and put them into a hard knockdown. From that state, you can do a ton of different things, and it depends on the mix-ups you want to create, but it's just good to always have it, as it allows Strider to get a bunch more options off knockdowns and being able to OTG afterwards. It's also a very fast projectile. It requires you to do a double motion, so it's kind of similar to Dante's stuff in the first game. But once you get used to it, I was able to do it pretty quickly and fairly easily after a little while. But you have to be careful. If you do it too fast, I was getting like Shoryuken motions, and that just wasn't happening. But it's a decent projectile. It's a decent projectile along with the other decent projectiles he already has. So Strider's defense, from what I can tell right now, and the more I've been watching these videos and seeing what people are saying, I'm thinking Strider actually has around 650,000 health. So that's really low. But moving on, the other specials I wanted to talk about that are now actually useful are his wall cling. Surprisingly enough, the wall cling is done simply by pressing, I think it's quarter circle forward with special, and he'll jump essentially to the opposite wall he's facing. So he'll launch himself forward and do the wall cling, and from the wall cling you can attack, you can slide down, you can go into a spike kick, or you can fly over to the other wall. And I've actually found it to be pretty useful in some situations where you get a hard knockdown. You can actually follow them up with the wall cling to set them up for some pretty ambiguous stuff. And from what I could tell, you could still call assists from the wall cling. I remember that being so while playing, but don't take my exact word for it. But it's good. It's actually a decent move in this game, which got me pretty excited. So, moving along, in general of how I feel Strider is in this game. Like I was saying before, he kind of reminds me of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Strider, where the dude is like made of paper. He's tough to use in that regard because it's difficult to... You have to be really careful with Strider. You have to be really aware of what's going on, and you can't take hits. Like if you get hit with Strider, you're gonna die really fast. So being extra careful is a very important factor, which is why I don't think a lot of casual new players will stick with him for very long. He's really like Zero in a lot of ways. I think Zero actually has more health than him now. But what Zero lacks is a really effective teleport. I think Strider's teleports end up being the best ones in the game, by all means, because when Wesker teleports, if you're in the right distance, you get that perfect setup where it's like ambiguous. When Wesker teleports, he ports up, and when he pops on whatever opposite side in the air, he falls with like gravity. Like gravity pulls him down really fast. When Strider teleports, he kind of like hovers in the air and sits there for like a moment and then falls. So it allows you to sit there and think like, okay, I can do a couple different things here. I can double jump and anticipate them to jump up and grab you. You can double jump forward and call the assist while doing that, leading to a crazy mix-up situation. Or you can just fall straight down and go for the mix-up. He's got several moves that are great when coming down from the sky, so it's really good. I like how they implemented it. They actually made it really effective. So from that point on, I didn't get the chance to use Ragnarok very often, but I'm thinking Ragnarok might be the more effective method of doing damage with Strider. It just does a boatload of damage, and Ouroboros can be iffy. Like, it could almost be a waste of 3 levels, it seems at times, but I kept using it for the sake of wanting to make it good, because it's one of my more favorite things to do with Strider in the previous games. But other than that, I'm trying to think of other characters in the game that I was able to get my hands on. Oh, we should talk about Wesker. Wesker's one of the characters that everyone was expecting to get nerfed really hard. And if you're seeing, this is one of Spider-Man's new costumes right now, it's actually pretty damn neat. Wesker didn't seem to get too much of a brutal nerf. Everything I was trying to do with Wesker when I was using him in Ultimate Marvel 3, I was just simulating what I do in Marvel 1, or Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Vanilla, and it felt fairly similar. I mean, I would possibly say that there's a few more frames on his teleports in general now. Like, the teleports might actually take a little bit more time to complete once you actually engage the teleport or go in and then appear on the other side. There might be a couple more frames they added to that to make it a little bit more slow, but in general, people weren't easily punishing it. Granted, that's just the skill set of the players at the time, so you can't really say much. The health nerf didn't seem all too bad to me, to be honest. I kind of agree with the health nerf on Wesker. He never really deserved to have millions of health. But other than that, he felt really similar. All of his damaging combos and like the OTG combo into crouching mediums, standing fierce, it all worked. It was all functional. So I'm kind of pleased they didn't do much to Wesker. They didn't change his game plan completely. They didn't make the gun, totally useless. He's still good. The other thing I wanted to mention, thinking about it now, in regards to Strider, is that the dude's a slippery character. And what I mean by that is, controlling him at first is a little odd. Like, I don't know if you've ever used Zero, and like you run around with Zero and you do his dash, and Zero does this like run animation that just keeps going. And he'll just keep running, and like he'll eventually come to a stop. Strider's kind of got that, and which makes him feel like he's running on ice sometimes. If you're dashing in and moving around, I was kind of getting the feeling like, oh wow, Strider's actually hard to maneuver, and I actually ended up sticking with teleports a lot of the time, because it seemed like moving around on the ground, he was just too slippery. He was actually taking more steps than I thought he would. It's weird. I can't really describe it very well until you get your hands on the game and try it yourself, but it's an interesting mechanic, and it's one of those things where I'm really thinking they designed Strider to make him kind of an intermediate character, to make him not brutally easy to use. So good for Capcom on that. I know he's fan requested, but I like him being in the same tier boat as he was in Marvel 2. So, if you're seeing right now, I think there should be some Ryu gameplay on the screen, and this might not be the best example, and look at this damage and how much it does to Strider. That was a 7-hit combo from Ryu, and it took off over 50% without super. So just going to show how low Strider's health is. It's pretty insane. His damage output isn't actually great either, like a basic 1-2-3 launch, medium, heavy smash, or special air combo. It doesn't do a royal ton. It's okay damage, but it's not absolutely amazing. There is a way you can relaunch with Strider, and I found it to be you just do 1-2-3 launch on the ground, and then when you're in the air, you do, I think it's Fierce into the downward Excalibur, which is like his downward angled special in the air. I believe this would be quarter circle forward with light. And he goes down and he hits like 3 times and allows you to hit the ground really fast. And if you do standing fierce into special, it allows you to relaunch. If you do medium heavy in the air, you can't relaunch. You're too high up at that point. But this is just really quick combo stuff. It was just another way to get a little bit more damage out of Strider than the basic combos and then a mix-up at the end. But there's a lot of potential with Strider when it comes to combos, so that's a pretty basic thing. One thing you might also be noticing is that level 3 X Factor is still really good. As much as they say they've toned X Factor down, I feel it a lot in level 1 and level 2, but level 3 is still really effective. Like, there can easily be a comeback with a character, and he has level 3, and he gets you in a couple of mix-ups. Woof, you're dead. That gameplay element is something that is just built into Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I don't think they're getting rid of it anytime soon. But that's going to wrap up this video for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow with the third day of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 gameplay breakdowns, and hopefully get a few more characters and get some more information for everyone. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.